Today is January 1st, 2026. I'm not doing anything because I just actively don't want to do anything. I don't want to do anything. There's a game I've been playing that's on my phone. It's pretty mindless. It does take a little bit of strategy. But I just don't want to do anything. I've been depressed. Don't really care to eat that much. But when I do eat, I kind of want to be spoiled. Like Brian finally gave in and made English muffins. There are some lessons that will be learned, and I think the next round will be better, but they're still tasty. And so we've been having breakfast sandwiches instead of just eggs and a piece of sourdough, because we've been having that for months every single morning, and I am over it. We're using ham from Christmas. Usually I'm so iffy about ham sometimes, but it's pretty tasty. My inner monologue has been so negative. Just bitching about everything, just tired of everything. I know, Milo, I know, buddy. Fine, come here. No. You come here. Yeah, I know. Always with the butt. Like, that is the most uncomfortable way for you to lay. Milo, you're gonna have to scooch. Come on, scooch. You know what scooch means. Yeah. Yeah, it was, we had something for dinner that tasted fine, but I was just not in the mood for it. And so my inner monologue was just so irritated. I don't know why. It's not even that it was critical, but just leading up to eating it, it's just constantly just so frustrated. So I'm going to try to be conscious of that and flip it, because right now my depression is just feeding on itself, and that's toxic. The good thing is that I don't even feel like eating. Like, it's not a great thing, but I'm still going to eat. So that'll help with portion control. I ate half of what Brian served me for dinner, and even that was not very much. And it was very fatty broth that definitely needed to be watered down, with way too many wontons that are just bulky and heavy. We need to get better with wontons. The point is, I wasn't in the mood. I kind of wanted to order out, but my gift card was out, and we need to spend our money wisely. And if you can eat in and have good food, then you should. But burger sounds really good. I bet I could convince Brian to get burgers. Maybe there's like an Applebee's gift card or something, because Applebee's is good enough. It's not the best thing in the world, but I eat it. I do eat it. See, all I want is good food. Anything that's not just like doesn't make my mouth water, I'm just like so unexcited about. And that's also the depression. It's so weird. Like, I'm really grateful that when I'm this depressed, I don't eat more, because that would make me feel worse. Like, leading up to it, I'll eat a ton until, like, leading up to the real crash, I'll eat a lot. So I'm almost a little bit grateful that for this depression, because at least I'm not shoving food in my fucking face. We didn't get up out of bed until 10 this morning. And my stomach was grumbling, but I didn't feel hungry. But we ate. And so we probably ate by 11. You know, getting up, moving around, doing stuff. Yeah, no later than. And then we had dinner at 5:36. Yeah, and I still wasn't hungry. So I do really appreciate that, because sometimes when I'm mildly depressed, I just go to comfort, which is food, which is annoying, but gosh, it tastes so good. Just, I'm not just eating junk, I'm usually eating good food. Like, I'm gonna have cheese and crackers later, but it's gonna be like, I'm not sure what the cheese mix is, but it's a soft white cheese. And we've got the raspberry habanero pampered chef top, I don't know what, jam, I don't know what it is, and Ritz crackers. And I'm just gonna have little baby sandwiches of that. Yeah, because I'm a little bit hungry because I'm high, but I don't want to just snack on junk. Like, we've got so much snack food. It's not even junk, but so much snack food in the house, and I don't really want any of it. I'm just not excited about food. And I want to be excited about food because food is delicious. But God, all I want to eat is cheese, and Brian will not allow that to be our diet, which is great, because I'm pretty sure all I want to eat is fucking cheese. Cheesy potatoes, cheesy rice, cheesy pasta, cheese and carbs. Honestly, I'd be fine with a soup. Oh, I want like a really good creamy potatoy soup. I used to make one in college that everybody loved, but it could use some adjustments. I think now that I know flavors better, I can make it better. But it made a ton of food, and it was potatoes and broth, so it was super cheap to make for a big group of people. I think that's what I appreciate about living in the Rock, the house I lived in at WSU. It was called the Rock. It was like a Christian home, but like super soft. It was like, you have Christian values, but you don't go to church, which was totally perfect for me, because like, I just wanted to live with good people, genuine people. And it is a good place to to meet those kind of people. But we hosted dinners once a week with our brother house, and it was nice. You got a kind of a home cooked meal. Maybe it was cheap, but that does not mean it wasn't delicious. So you got a lot of the same repeat offenders like my soup, but it was fun to just congregate and talk and intermingle. I wish I had been better at that when I was in college. I wasn't very good. I mean, I say that I'm still not that good at it, but if I'm high, I can carry on a conversation. And I did last night. I just had a puff and a half of a joint, maybe. And that was all I had because I wasn't going to be there for very long. Felix, leave. Problem with Felix is he doesn't hear you unless you like use a booming voice. It doesn't have to be angry. It just kind of has to startle him out of his focus. Hey, bud, come here. There he goes. Yes, good boy. Thank you for stopping. You did leave. Yeah, you did. That was really good. No more barking. You can stand and look out the window. Yep, good boy. I didn't tell you to come. You did everything right. Charlie. Felix got it. Charlie. Hey, bud. Yeah, you have a hard time hearing, don't you? Thank you, good boy. God, Charlie freaked us the fuck out yesterday. He was not behaving in a manner that he would typically behave in. And he was squeaking and breathing hard and moving his body around in a weird way. I was really worried about him. Sometimes with dogs, you just need to give it half an hour. I think he was overstimulated. The fireworks probably have been overstimulating him. And so every little thing he barks at, don't you? He also can't hear as well, which makes him easily startled, which makes him bark. Yeah. You're a good boy. I texted all my people, Happy New Year, May 2026, spring, love, laughter, and joy. And my friend Sonia responded with just like the sweetest response, and she's so thoughtful and kind, and I love her, and I'm seeing her on Saturday. And seeing people who you like, we've met in person once, and I get so weird in person, even though like we know each other. We talk on the phone once every couple of months, probably, sometimes more frequently, sometimes less, but we chat. I love her. She's so great, and she gives me she's probably exactly what I need right now, which is why I need to schedule seeing my friends more regularly, just one-on-one, because they're all in my life because they bring something to my life. I would like to be more intentional about that this year. And if they make it a priority, then lovely. If they don't, that's okay. But I'm going to suggest it. Charlie, please stop. He's so itchy. Gosh, I Everything and nothing helps. It feels like some things will help for a short amount of time and then he'll just get itchy again. Felix, you too. Yeah, I think Sonia is exactly what I need right now. I need to talk through ketamine and just how I've been feeling depressed and overwhelmed and overstimulated. Everything bothers me. I feel like I feel everything. Felix, please stop. Please stop. This is why I do ketamine. Because it resets all of this. And maybe it means I don't deal with stuff enough because I rely on ketamine to in doing this, it forces me to process things by myself in the only manner that I process things, which is out loud. Oh gosh. Oh, I hate it when I cry like this. I feel it. It's just like choking me. And it's not because I'm not letting it out. It's just it's the panic attack. Sits in my throat. It's gross. I hate it. I feel like I give people so much and I just can't get anything in return. Even the smallest fucking thing is like pulling hair. Even with Sonia. And I know how she is because that's how she was raised. But, like, come on, bitch. God, I love her so much. She's really great. I hope that we get the opportunity to just, like, really talk. I don't know. I don't really want to go on a walk. We can go on a short walk, but when I'm this depressed, my body also never stops hurting. The chronic part of the pain is real. My body always hurts so much more when I'm depressed, which makes me move less, which makes it hurt more. But also I've been stretching and God, it just doesn't feel like it does anything. I'm still doing it because I know it's good for my body, especially it'll be better for it in the long run, even if it doesn't do a lot right now, immediately. I feel like I'm always just making excuses for myself. Like I have to justify everything that I do. with everyone that I meet. Well, that might be a little harsh. I feel like I throw so many bones. I try to talk about things that are just happening in life, like the dogs, and I don't get much in return. No, what I get in return are the same stories that I've heard over and over again. Nothing new. Just the most dramatic moments of life. Although I do keep saying that Charlie freaked me out yesterday. He's getting older, so I'm getting more sensitive. He's so itchy. You know, I can really relate to him because I am so itchy right now. The second I think about being itchy, which is usually when I'm empathizing with Charlie because he's always scritching, I just really want to itch. My legs especially, but also my poor arms, my I know I've talked about this so many times, but I try not to talk about it with Brian because he knows I'm itchy. I'll try to take an antihistamine in the morning. He keeps giving them to me at night, and maybe they take longer to kick in because they don't seem to help. He thinks I should go to a doctor. I think it's stress and depression, but I might not be. I'll just go in. The problem is that you talk to a doctor about what's going on and they're like, you're fine. I mean, truly. Because everything's so expensive and you can't justify the expense to insurance, they just say, you're fine. The United States is such a piece of shit. Honestly. Like, Trump sucks so fucking hard on whoever gives him money. Literally. He will do anything for money to live in comfort and luxury. So, good on him. He is the master cocksucker. God, he's just... Anyways. But it's not just him. This is since the beginning. The United States has been a piece of shit since the beginning. And truly, so have the majority of every single other country. Because people suck. Because we came from caveman, where the only thing to do to survive was live and let die. Is that what the phrase is? I don't know why I'm questioning myself. I know that's what it is. But also, it might not be. My brain is so unconfident sometimes. But the whole world sucks. Europe is a piece of shit. I mean, China is a piece of shit because Europe is a piece of shit. Most places are pieces of shit because Europe. was the original shit piece. But other countries have made progress. Not as much as realistically it should be done because people are greedy and people in power are allowed to be as greedy as they fucking want because they're the ones who make the rules. So why wouldn't they do it to benefit themselves? They're still people. And it's survival of the fittest. It's just gross. Why would why would me being successful there is no logic to it. You can ask the questions all day, but there is no logic to it. At the end of the day, it's generational trauma. Everything's generational trauma. Always with the barking. The dogs are so on edge. I just want property. I just want a community where we all just take care of each other and we live within our means in places that fit our needs. I wonder if I could convince Leanne to do that. Just help take care of each other so that if somebody does want to go on vacation, like they wouldn't have to worry about what they're going to do with their cat and who's going to take care. Like, we just take care of each other and we live in proximity so that you don't have to spend an hour in traffic to do it. You just walk across the street. That's all I want. Why is that so much to ask? Where would everyone be willing to live? Because I'm willing to leave this side of Washington or even Washington in general. There are limited places I can go to keep working at the credit union. I don't have unlimited options, but we've got some options. What if we all gosh, it would really be. The problem is I just don't have the resources to do that, right? I mean, really. Which means I need to leave or find property that can fit, I can pay for by myself. There's no one to help. I mean, there could be people to help, but I'm not going to ask for help. I want people to want to be there with us, and that's why they're helping. Because they're not helping, they're just contributing to their own future. But unfortunately, people that I know are millennials, so they can't afford shit. Brian and I have been blessed. And frugal. And we're frugal. We don't spend more than we need to. Do I want kombucha all the time? Yes. But do we buy it? Absolutely not. Because it is a luxury. So we'll stick to water. And tea. And the occasional orange juice because, oh my gosh, I've been craving orange juice like crazy lately. I should write that down. That way I say it tell my doctor that. I probably need my blood tested. I'm really worried I have diabetes. Or something like that. Not diabetes. I don't know. There's something going on. I need to go to the doctor. I want to talk to somebody who cares and who's going to listen to what I'm saying and try to make things better rather than, here, take this pill, and if it doesn't work, come see me. As if you or I have the time or money for that shit. And yes, sometimes that is the answer, but not without multiple tests. You're not going to prescribe me something right there unless you have my results right there. Except that you get your results via eChart and they're pretty much within normal, so that's the end of the conversation. Even when you go to specialists, you see each other, they don't know what's going on with you. Long story short, the United States really sucks because of the first world nations. They're the worst. And this America is the best country in the world is like the greatest scam ever told. Sold. The greatest scam ever sold. That makes more sense. It's so sad because it's purely only this awful because people are greedy. It doesn't have to be this way. There are so many resources in the world. And if we use them sparingly and to the best of our abilities, rather than putting out cheap bullshit, so you have to replace it, which then it's just fucking waste. It's so not even that hard. People just, they can't see past their own noses. It makes it so hard to live in this world. So when you find, that's why I need a community. Because even though the outside, I could have my own little bubble. Outside of my bubble, it can be disgusting and horrible, and we have no control. But inside that bubble, we are human beings who have unreasonable emotions because of past trauma. Our brain reacts before we can even think. But we love each other and we understand that not everyone can be their best self all the time. And we do what we can to save what we can in the world and help the people around us. That's all I want. Why is that so much to ask? Because it's hard. And it's easier to live in comfort. And we live in a system that suppresses us. We live in a system where you have multiple concerning symptoms, but you don't go to the doctor because it takes time and money, and most of the time it's a hurry up and wait. Because I would really like to get a scan of my back and my shoulder and my ankle. Honestly, like full body scan would be like really quite ideal for me, because I'm thinking I get frequent headaches, so why not have a scan of that? I feel like I always just have a little bit of a headache, but I'm so good at pain dissociation that I only feel it if I think intentional and I think about it. Like I just said that and I was like, yep, I have a headache, but I'll be able to move on from it soon. And I have permanent damage in my shoulder, and if what they're telling me is true, then I should have more of an answer than you had a bone spur and some grinding in your collarbone and you have permanent damage. Like, I don't. There's obviously more to it. I should have seen a specialist. Fucking L&I. Well, L&I was paying for it. Young and dumb. Young and thinking that even though I knew. Authority, you trust the people above you or authority figures, because why would they tell you that nothing is wrong with you when something is wrong? You pulled a ligament, but everything's fine. You only get the answer when you see a specialist. And that's also why our medical system fucking sucks. I know you need a chunk. You just can't have as many specialists as you need. There's too many people in the world. Honestly, there are too many people in the world. You don't need to have huge families. There are enough of, God. Unless we all started to treat each other with kindness and respect, and we dealt with really, if we dealt with our trauma and tried to just be the best versions of ourselves actively, with the understanding that it's not always going to be the case, and self-empathy, then we could all just get along. But it's easier to pretend like everything's okay and not deal with it because it hurts, and it means that you sit in a room talking to yourself. I don't need the therapist. I just need to get out what I'm feeling when I'm feeling it, because by the time I'm done feeling it, I've justified it to myself, and then by the time I see a therapist, unless it happened very recently, it's not something I think to talk about anyway, unless it's a big one. I think everybody should talk to themselves more. Brian's always talked to himself. I do too, but I usually do it in my head. You just can't process things in your head the same you can when you say things out loud. I don't need validation. I don't need I just need to talk about what's going on. Feels like once I get it out of my system, I can really understand it. I feel like there's so much trauma processing that's happening all of the fucking time with me because I'm such an overthinker. It's all background. It's all happening back there. I'm so scared I made the wrong choice with ketamine. I think I'm gonna keep doing it. I'll just do it less frequently and do this more frequently and hope that really actually processing and getting things out of my body means that I'll need ketamine less and less. Yeah, I think that's right. I know that going every month wasn't working anymore, and I think, and maybe that was my ego, but I think my ego is looking out for me sometimes. Because my biggest concern about doing ketamine was getting on a drug, relying on a drug to manage my body, my nervous system, and having to rely on it forever. And I think that it was turning into something that I relied on to fix things without doing the additional work. I think I got a bit lazy this last year. I stopped going to therapy, which means I stopped talking about anything out loud other than to Brian, but it's different, right? He knows what's going on when it's going on versus talking it out after it's happened and you've had some time, like even just a little bit of time to process it. And you've already talked about it once, so talking out loud about it lets you This is why I'm doing this. Because I'm so stream of conscious, I jump from one thing to the next, and it's all interconnected. I don't know what I'm gonna say to my dad, but I'm going to say something. But I think I'll give him, now that the temperatures have cooled, I think I'll give him another opportunity to hear how I feel. It's been almost 4 years since the original email that really broke with the relationship. Maybe, and I know that when I talked to him about not texting me, I articulated what I wanted to say well. I felt really good about what I had said out loud. There wasn't a lot of like processing and being like, oh, I should have. So anyway, stop explaining yourself. God. It was well articulated. But I'm sure that the second he heard, before I told him not to text me, I tried to start off with how I had been feeling because it was the first thing I was saying, and I was hoping that he'd be able to take that in before I told him to stop texting me. And I told him that I had been grieving my dad for 2 years. And that it had been really hard. think I could say something similar to what I said then, but a little better articulated because I had an opportunity to do some processing. But I think what I would want to tell him is that when I had asked him not to text me, that I had been actively grieving him for 2 years at that point, grieving the relationship that I thought we had. Because to me, it felt like he refused to have a conversation with me because he knew what he was saying was wrong. Wrong in the sense of it didn't feel good. But he was in a cult. And I probably didn't go about some of the conversations the best way. Obviously, there were emotions in it, and I was it hurts so bad. I can't talk about it out loud still because I can't talk about it without crying, which means there's more processing to do. But I really lost my dad because went from, I realized that the person he was in my head wasn't at all the person that he is in real life. And so I lost somebody who never existed. And that's such a hard thing to explain. And I think that's the biggest reason why I couldn't be around him anymore, because I didn't, it was so fake. I mean, even when I asked him how work was, and you get like the most basic answer, and like that's it, and you don't get a question asked of you, or maybe you do. You get asked about Charlie because Charlie's been around for 10 years, and like you don't actually want to know anything, and you don't get anything. And that's why I told him that's why I don't want to see him, because it's harder to see him. Because when I see him, I actively grieve the person. Like, it's in front of me. There's no avoiding it. There's no romanticizing it. Yeah, I think without all the backstory, simply put, I don't have a relationship with my dad for a few reasons. It started, the origination point was 2020. COVID, MAGA cult, constant manipulation from every angle. And I am the person who believes that you should do the best you can with the tools you have, that you should do your best to be kind to the people around you, to, even if you wouldn't hang out with them in real life, recognize the good things about them as best you can. Don't wish harm on anybody. And let people be themselves. Just let people be who they are. It doesn't fucking affect you. And if you don't like it, don't be in their life. Like, it's not that hard. But no, instead, we're going to be in each other's lives and we're going to make underhanded comments to each other. And we're going to say things under our breaths and we're going to mumble about and we're not going to actually communicate. We're just going to be somewhat passive aggressive, Pacific Northwest over here, to each other all of the time. And I choose not to be around those people. I have a hard time in social situations, and the last thing I need are people who are constantly triggered and triggering me. That was a weird emphasis on triggering. So that went on a little bit of a 2020 rant. Yeah, that's what happens when I have to process something hard. You recognize it, you breathe it out. Drink a little water. Water is so refreshing. And you get back to it. 2020 happened and my dad fell into the MAGA cult. And tensions rose within the family and they came to a head. When they came to a head, I tried to be the opposing view that could be patient and try to understand, but is gonna call you out on your shit, which it doesn't work for people who are in cults, especially how deep my dad was in it, I guess, because he was making comments under his breath. He wasn't even under his breath. He was making comments. He was loud and proud making comments, and I can't sit by. It's wrong. What he was saying is wrong as a person to person, just being kind. I'm going to go on a side rant because it still makes me so mad. We have an aunt. It's my dad's uncle's wife. Paternal aunt. Yeah. Nope. It doesn't matter. So irrelevant. Why am I trying to make this more complicated? It doesn't matter. My dad's aunt. And my dad's not that much younger than that uncle. Mom's oldest of 5, dad's youngest. 5, 4. 4. 2 girls, 2 boys. Nope, 3 boys. 5. My God, doesn't matter. They were close in age. And the woman his uncle married she lives on in everybody she met. God, amazing human person. Just cream of the crop. And my dad was anti-masker. And I said to him, what if she was sick? She was multiple diagnoses that were hard on her body and immunocompromised her. I said, what if somebody just went out with COVID and they didn't wear a mask and they got her sick? They didn't know they were sick, but they spread it to her. She was in the hospital at that time, or she was, I think when I said that, she was in the hospital. And it just like, I don't remember what he said as a response, but it was just like a non-response. And I think that's one of the first times that I truly, truly knew that he just doesn't care about other people. And that made me really sad, because I always thought that he did. And that's not a fun person to be around, people who don't. And I guess that's how his family's kind of always been. Like, he cares, right? He cares. If something happened to me, even though we don't talk, he would care, right? Same thing with him and I. But, you know, apparently not bad enough to be slightly inconvenienced. So it made me realize that my dad is, growing up, I had a romanticized vision of who my dad was. And I think we all do that about our parents. And maybe sometimes it's not romanticized. Maybe it's villainized. Yeah, whatever. But we all have an image in our heads. And my image of him just completely shattered. And it's not like it shattered in a way like when he was in that cult, he was not himself. But some of the things he was saying, they're not, you have to be willing to what am I trying to say? You have to see the person for who they are. And what he was saying revealed a lot of him to me. And I think to an extent he was saying the quiet part out loud. And the quiet part was gross. I don't want to spend my time with someone who thinks and feels the way he did. And if he stands by what he said now, he told my grandma that he regrets some of the things he says in that email, or sending the email now. But I wonder if he still stands by what he said. think that's the biggest thing I want to know. But I also don't want to know because I'm pretty sure I know the answer. Just like my mom, right? That's why she's at arm's length. Besides the fact that she just couldn't care less about my life and like the details, the intimate details. She doesn't know what's going on in my life. It's funny, like if she comes to Lego Ladies Night, she didn't last year, she had something else going on, but if she does this year, oh, I'm not sure if I told her. I should make sure I do. But if she comes, she always acts like surprised about something. At least one something. She doesn't know who I am. She doesn't know what's happening in my life. And she doesn't care enough to ask anyway. But I have a general idea of what's going, like the big things that are going on in her life. Because she bitches about them. But hey, we all bitch. Okay, maybe not everyone, but we all should bitch. Because it's good to get out of your body. And bitching doesn't always have to look like talking stream of thought from one bounce to the other. So yeah, that's the gist about why I don't talk to my dad. There's a few reasons that have built up to it being easier. I told him not to text me. I wouldn't have even told him except that we lost our cat. He is a really special cat. But I didn't tell my dad. I told my mom and dad were working through their divorce, and so they saw each other that day and went to dinner together. And my dad texted me and said, your mom told me about the loss of your cat, the loss of Blaze. I'm sorry for your loss, something like that. And it caused a panic attack, like a big one, immediate sobs, like and that was in July, and I hadn't heard from him since Christmas. At all. And I wasn't really reaching out to him. What he'd said in his email really made it feel like he didn't care to have a relationship with me. He said in it specifically, if that means you can't have a relationship with me, then you should look at the way you grew up. And in my response, I would really like to say, talk about that. Because I have looked at the way I grew up, and he and mom are not the people who I thought they were. And I have found it to be very disappointing who they actually are. I won't say that part. That part's for me. And I believe people can change because I've changed. Brian's changed. Lauren has changed. I mean, everybody changes to an extent. Well, the emotional ones do. And neurodivergent. But we all have life state phases. Whether some phases happen more frequently than for some people than they do for others, and there are stages. And I believe that he could change. I believe that anyone can. Well, not anyone. That's actually a complete lie. I don't think that honestly, any of the powerful people of the world, like truly powerful people, I think that they are almost entirely awful, terrible, gross human people. And I think the world would be better off without them because if we could just get rid of the worst of the greed. That's like my dream world, where just all of a sudden the greedy people are gone, the effects that they had on other people, it like dissipates really fast. And everybody just starts loving one another and taking care of each other, and we take care of, literally just we take care of each other as a government, like roses and cupcakes and rainbows and whatever you like. For me tonight, it's cheese and crackers. Ugh. If only it was. If it was that easy, I would do it in a heartbeat. I would do it actively, but at this point, you get rid of one, but they're just replaced with another. Like, Trump is the ultimate puppet because he couldn't care less about other people. Truly, he doesn't care about anyone by himself. Yeah. Or he hasn't in a very long time. He probably did at one point in his life, but he doesn't anymore. And he is the ultimate pawn. But someone will replace him when he dies. It'll happen. Hope. I mean, we can all hope that it happens naturally sooner or later. But at the end of the day, it's just the face of the puppeteers. So many strings are being pulled that it almost doesn't matter. I don't even remember how I got to there. Well, I can feel I'm cooling off. The emotions are starting to get really jumbled, cross-jumbled, which means at this point I wouldn't really be processing, I'd just be rambling. So I'm gonna go get my cheese and crackers because it's like 8:30. I probably won't go to bed till 10:30 because it's where I'm at in life right now. Maybe I'll read a book. I should read a book. Yeah. So thanks for joining me. Got a lot of emotions out, got a lot of processing done, still have a lot more to do. One day at a time. And my intention for this week, I'm going to write this down as soon as I'm done with this. My intention for this week is to be intentional, gross, about my thoughts. Catch myself, correct myself. Because it doesn't help. It doesn't help the depression. And in fact, it keeps me in it. I'm not going to get out of it just because I start correcting myself, but it'll help. I'm going to see if Candace has time for me to see me for I honestly might just take time off of work for it if that's what it takes, because I would really like to know if a craniosacral would help. I kind of want to do one with Laura. I wonder if she'd be willing to do one for me, because she's supposed to be really good at it, and she's had some good releases, she said. I'll let Candace practice on me, but for this body reset, that was really a good idea, so I'm happy I kept rambling, but it's snack time.